Hi everyone, it's me again, and Squish Gang is present, featuring the eighth wonder of the world, the Squishmallow Cow. Okay, so that was sent to me by a lovely subscriber from my Amazon wishlist, and I want to thank you so kindly. I've been looking for a cow for so long. Anyways, so we're here today to do a little bit of a quick, quirky, fun video because this was suggested to me in my comments on a couple of other videos. We're going to watch and react to a Jubilee middle ground video because I'm not like a Jubilee commentary channel type beat. No hate, by the way. Like Gabby Bell slays, like, you know what I'm saying? But I wanted to look at some of this because this is a bit more of like a rhetorical type video, a little bit more in my neck of the woods. So we're going to watch, can LGBTQ and Christians see eye to eye? First, though, sources, links, Amazon, Patreon, all that kind of stuff, ways to support the channel, linked down below, as well as a link to like a jewelry website, Every Jewels I'm affiliated with, which my link stacks onto any sales that are going on. If you wish to do that, I do get a small commission, and anything else like that, all in there. And yeah, so also feel free to suggest content. I have an email as well. And I'm planning to continue with 2 videos a week through December, as well as maybe once my lectures are done, fingers crossed, a weekly live streams would be really neat. Just for a couple hours here and there. We'll see how that goes. No promises necessarily on that. But yeah, so this video is going to be chill, relaxed, fun, cute, quirky, fun, whatever. So let's get right into the reaction.
On the left hand side.
So for those of you who are not aware of what this show is, essentially all it is a form of and often pitched via people who want to dodge sorts of criticism for their often heinous views. Idea of, oh, well, why can't we come to an agreement when one side is denial of human rights and the other side is like trying to just be alive. So that's something to keep in mind when we're talking about these types of videos. Is it tends to be a little bit of misguided naivety to what actually makes succinct political views versus like a form of blind hatred towards a certain group.
On the left-hand side, can I have my LGBT folks? On the right-hand side, can I have my conservatives? There are times when I feel uncomfortable expressing my views around sexuality.
So specifically what they're doing here, if you don't know, is that they ask a question and then the people who have opinions on the answer or feel that way kind of have their conversations. So also interesting that it's like 3 dudes, 3 shirt pants people that are the traditionalists. Now, I will say too, I'm going to be cracking jokes this time and trying to have a little bit of fun. Feel free to say I do ad hominems in the comments. I'm just in a silly, goofy mood today, okay?
I'm a pastor as well. I'm also a community leader in Boyle Heights. And in that community, there's a large LGBTQ presence. So there's that fear of really coming out and say what I believe, because I do love everybody and I don't want to be pushed to the side just because I have a certain feeling about.
So one of my main problems with these types of shows is it creates this concept of that it's unrealistic, to say the least, right? Because a lot of people, for example, the recent shootings in the Colorado nightclub, there is legitimate hate crimes towards these groups. There is legitimate fear that they live through every single day. And these take people who are willing participants to be civil, to try to make like the leftist liberals look unreasonable for not wanting to meet in the middle. That's a lot of narratives that these types of shows bring forward. As if these conservatives, even if a couple times they get angry or whatever, they're not like, there is a level far above this. And especially when you're in person too, you're less likely to be as verbally violent as you would be online. So that's a lot. There's a lot of attributes here that make it look a lot, it makes it sugar-coated in a way that it makes it easy to dismiss the fears of the opposition, as in, say this, like less standard way of life, like the minority in this circumstance.
Beliefs and, you know, how our actions come from those beliefs. And like, I love that we're having this conversation.
I'm also just wondering how many people are like, "Ooh, they brought in a blue-haired liberal," in the comments. See, it's like things like that. The moment I saw the title, I thought that's gonna be a mess, but it went super well, very respectful. Unfortunately, that is not necessarily a realistic reaction to how that works, right? And these fears that people have, even if the violence comes from a small minority, that is still violence that they have to face, right? So that is something that I'm wondering with, you know, if being gay is a lifestyle and so is being straight. That's a weird comment. But yeah, so that's actually pretty good. I love that for us.
Some sins are worse than others.
For me, it would be, you know, killing another human is the worst. That's it. Also, it Venn diagrams into abortion. Taking the life of another is huge. Is huge.
Can I ask you two this? Do you all see homosexuality as a sin?
Yes.
And if so, where on that scale?
I don't think
The youth are really
Oh, jeez. I got so frazzled by... Hold on. Are we just gonna... Are we just gonna, like, roll over the abortion comment? Like, nothing's happening? Hold on. Also, because we're talking about sin, right? Someone mentioned this in my live stream. I'm gonna be Dollar Store Anne-Marie Forcino for a second. Hello, sinners.
Alrighty, well, hello, sinners. How are you?
Thank you to whoever sent me this. But yes, we're sinnering today and sitting and being sinners. Yeehaw. I love fans so much.
At some point in my life, I was taught that sex is wrong.
I feel like contextually, if you are around Christianity, you have all been taught that sex is wrong under certain pretenses, right? Which is premarital, typically. Homosexual as well, depending on, you know, what type of Christianity, how intense it was, etc., whatever. That's just so interesting. Because, like, I feel like that was a bit of a dishonest walk-up. Especially from the traditional people. Just because, and I'm not saying, like, it's necessarily wrong to wait, do whatever you want, I don't care. But, like, it's just strange to have that be... Because that's like one of the first parts about Christianity. Like, don't have premarital sex, right? That's interesting.
it makes me sad to hear that that you decided to hurt yourself.
Me too.
Yeah, I still hold on to what I believe are my beliefs, but at the same time, I wish there was a better way for you to talk to someone and to process and to think through reconciling how you feel with like what you may have been taught or have read through script.
It's hard because with these terms like reconcile and all that kind of stuff, it's creating this idea of like reconcile in a way to repress, right? And to, you know, keep these ideologies hidden, right? I'm going to make myself a little bit bigger. And this concept of acting on is the sin is so harmful because there's no actual tangible solution. So it's just causing like this consistent cycle of suffering that is never answered for, except for conversion therapy, which is historically awful and violent, right? So that's kind of this dilemma that these videos just gloss over. And I think instigates more cycles of being able to be like, well, no, it can just go away, or no, this is a choice, or all those kinds of actions, despite whatever quote unquote respectable tone that's being used in these conversations.
People should honor the pronouns others wish to be called.
Oh, hesitation's enough.
What do you mean by hesitation is no? That's giving I believe in the Fox News airplane of something helicopter pronoun narrative. That makes me... That sours my feelings with the chosen people a little bit, in a way of like, I feel like they tried to get a conservative lesbian, like a more conservative leaning lesbian but then not like super progressive Christians to have the leaning look worse. Because it's the positioning, right? Again, it's like it's interesting to have like the blue-haired liberal, and like it's a lot of stereotypical kind of tropes are here as well, right? Which again, I feel like a lot of these things lean into weaponization. And there was another episode I was going to look at, but it was like 45 minutes long. I just didn't feel like going through that. It was like, oh, I know Hassan's going to react to this. We invite you to come on and talk to Ben Shapiro. Why? So that you're platforming someone who will incite violence regardless and have violent tones regardless of whatever the conversation is, and somebody who will try to reason with them. There's a certain level of stubbornness that just means that they will be platformed. That's kind of where the lines get drawn a little bit, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, if you're gonna like, hey, if you don't use whatever, you're gonna get fined or whatever, like that's, I'm not a big fan of that.
These are conversations between us though,
but
right?
like
that's the Canadian law again for like the 10th time that people aren't understanding. Like the difference between protective class and doing things out of the sake of further marginalization. If I misgender somebody, I don't get a fine. A cop doesn't show up and give me a ticket. I've never seen that happen. I live in Canada. That's the other thing. It's always Americans that are talking about this with no experience of the actual like legal climate here. Like, it's very weird.
America is heading in the right direction when it comes to inclusion and diversity.
Yeah. I don't think the job of a Christian, for example, is to get people to behave in a certain moral way that's in line with what the Bible says.
Okay. So he's talking about how he doesn't believe that like Christians should be imposing biblical values on other people. But the thing is, the questions about America and the structures of America and the directions, which a lot of them are specifically designed to impose biblical beliefs on other people. So that's the other thing I'm having an issue with. A lot of the time, they're not actually really answering the question. And again, it's this air of like respectful nature to kind of blur lines. But if the blurring of lines will typically allow one already existing powerful, disproportionately powerful party just go right over another.
People should have the right to have sex with anyone they want.
Anyone? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Consensually, right?
All right.
Consensually.
I will concede this time to the fact that that was a weird question. Like that was a weird way to frame that one. That's just giving like you can, you know, non-consensual circumstances, inebriated circumstances, children. Like that was just a weird framing. Like that one needed a little bit more. That one was weird, and I have a feeling prediction time is to be weaponized a little bit, or it is in the comments. But that was a very weird question. This thing too, right? There's a lot of manipulating for like the sake of like being scandalous, but I feel like with these types of topics, that should never be the case, right? You don't want to have these like, ooh, crazy fun times when you're talking about like if people deserve human rights or not. That's the thing is with these types of things are just so ridiculous, and it makes internet content like so superficial and lack the ability to have true critical processing because things are dulled down or boiled down so much like this.
The reason why I stepped back, and you guys would agree with me, but when I was 9 years old, I was touched by a family member, and so, you know, I can't step forward when that question is asked.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that he's weaponizing it, by the way. I'm saying like the framing of that was intentionally bizarre. Because there was just too many ways to take that, and that was just poor questioning that made for emotional contention. Again, ooh, fun internet content. It's like, well, that's a bit strange.
I believe in a higher power.
You know, there is a higher source. There is definitely something that has given me these blessings that have nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with the bigger picture of things.
Oh no, it's time for the heathen. You have to stop.
No. You are no mistake.
It is also very interesting to have almost entirely spiritual people in this conversation. So then you're getting these more progressive Christians in this way, right? So again, that's muddying the waters because most of the problems are not with these people. It's with like aggressive fundamentalists, which this is not that group. So it's not realistic.
Guys, thank you. Friends, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And that's the video. That was one of the lighter kind of topics that I've talked about in one of the later episodes of this show even. So let me know if you want me to talk about this more. Maybe do a live stream watching the 45-minute one. Let me know what you think. And comment down below content you want to suggest. Links, sources, Amazon, Patreon, all that kind of stuff linked down below, along with ways to support the channel. Squish Gang says goodbye. I finally did the required commentary channel thing and watched a Jubilee video. I did that. Yeehaw. So, you all have a great day, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.
Which was more culturally significant, the Renaissance or Single Ladies by Beyonce?